Just a normal disclosure, remember these videos are here to give a very simple understanding of a topic, and you should always discuss the ideas which I present in these videos with the person who is marking your work. At the end of the day, they will be awarding you the marks, not me, and they may want you to do it slightly differently. So always check. So with a little bit more detail, we will outline some of the key terms to provide a common language. I will introduce you to a step-by-step approach to analysis, which will lead to evaluation and justification, which is important for your academic grade and performance. And we'll get to a point where we'll start to understand the difference between analysis, evaluation and justification. This video will look at two different types of phone as a way of exploring these keywords: identify, compare, contrast, analyze, evaluate and justify. Key terms, or a common language which we all understand. Identify in a very simple way is make a list. Compare and contrast is say what is same and what is different. Analyze or analysis is compare and contrast and the strengths and weaknesses pulled together into one element. Evaluate is linking the analysis to a context or a scenario. And justify, make a recommendation based on the evaluation. So justification has to be linked to the evaluation, and because the evaluation is linked to analysis, you've got to have an analysis, and because you've got an analysis, you're going to have a compare and contrast the strengths and weaknesses. And we're going to start by looking at identifying the features and functions of an object, in this case the two phones, and work his way through this process. Step 1. Identify features and functions. In this table on the slide, we can see I've made a very simplistic approach at filling out a features and function comparison table. If you want to know more about comparison tables, please look at my other video looking at the use of comparison tables within written reports. But from this comparison table, we can see that there's a feature, in this case a keypad, and we know phone 1 has got a keypad but phone 2 has not. And we've got a function, emails, and we can see that phone 2 does emails and phone 1 does not. And we can see that both phones have plastic. Obviously there'll be a lot more features and functions. But this is the first step to be able to move into a comparison. Step 2. Compare and contrast the features and functions which you've identified in your comparison table. So what would this look like in written form? We've seen the comparison table where we've got a yes or no. Now we need to convert that into writing, which we can mark as part of your assessment. And this is one example. So phone 1 has a keypad, whereas phone 2 projects the keys onto a touch screen. Also, phone 2 can send emails, but phone 1 cannot. However, both phones have a plastic body. So if you wrote something like that, we are comparing and contrasting, and you're in the pass grades moving towards the merit grades. So step 3 is identify the strengths and weaknesses of the features and functions. So we're moving closer towards this idea of analysis. To make life a little bit easier, I've reduced the number of features and functions on the table, but I've extended 2 additional columns, strengths and weaknesses. And we can see here that I've identified 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses, i.e. I've made a list of 3 items in each column. Which is really important, because when we now move into the written element, we can use those 6 items to explore the strengths and weaknesses of that one feature. And this is where the marks are going to start to build up. So what would this look like? What would the feature, the strengths and weaknesses look like as an analysis, because that's where we are now. We're talking about analysis. For example, phone 1 has a keypad which can be seen and felt by the user. The position of the keys never change, whereas phone 2 projects the keys onto the touchscreen, which allows the phone to be rotated or the button size to be changed. However, the use of keypad could result in the keys falling off, letters fading, or even stopped working, whereas letters never fade on the touchscreen, although the touchscreen may fail and prevent keys from working. If you present something like this in your written assessment, you're now working in the merit moving towards the distinctions. This is a good standard of academic writing. Obviously, in a report you would be using journal articles and books to support some of the statements you're making. Step 4. Evaluate the features and functions. So I've extended the comparison table. I've listed the first column a user, so in this case a blind person. I've identified a second column and I call that environment, so I said everyday life, 2 children, office worker, so that's something about the user. And the feature we're going to explore in this comparison table is the keypad versus the touchscreen, and the strengths and weaknesses have stayed the same. So the point I'm making is, before we can evaluate or justify, we need to know 2 more pieces of information: the user and the environment. Who's going to use it, where and how will they use it? Without that information, you cannot evaluate. I would argue that without that information, analysis can be quite difficult as well, because you'll be analysing through what we call the wrong lens. A lens is simply a way of saying the way in which someone's looking at information. So what would this evaluation look like in writing? It's a merging of the analysis and the evaluation into a cohesive discussion or narrative. So if we look at this screen, I'm not going to read it out, but I'm going to highlight some keywords. So please read it as I'm speaking. So we'll look at this example here, where you can see that actually most of the analysis which we talked about in the previous slide is still there. However, we've now added some key information such as blind user. And we're linking the features and functions back to that blind user. And then down here, we're again linking back to the identified user. And that's really important, because when we are evaluating, we have to evaluate against the user and how they will use the object. And that's where the marks, the upper marks, come from, recognizing that the analysis has to link to a user and the environment or the purpose of the item or object. Step 5. Justification and recommendations based on features and functions. So the recommendation, the paragraph here is actually the 3rd paragraph. You've just seen paragraph 1 and 2 on the previous slide. This is the 3rd paragraph. And the point I'm making is, you can't justify or recommend something until you've evaluated it. You can't evaluate something until you've analysed something. So in terms of high marks in your written work, you need to compare, contrast, analyse, evaluate, justify, leading to the recommendation. There's a stepped process which I've tried to lead you through in this video. Now there's an argument here that actually, if you don't understand the user and the environment, then you don't understand what features and functions you need to be looking for in the first place. So there's this idea of bottom up or top-down approach. And I think it's important, whichever approach you take, whether you're top-down or bottom-up, that you have a vision, a eye on what you want at the end. Just like a business, you've got business aims and objectives. Just like a dissertation, you've got your research question or your aims and objectives. You need to have that big picture. If you've got that big picture, I don't think it really matters which side you start at, whether you start at the justification and work your way back to find the evidence to support what you're saying, or whether you start at the identify some information and work your way through to the justification. The output will be the same, and we all think and work differently. So the take-home message, I've got 3. I've tried to outline in this video a step-by-step process on how you can get top marks in your assignment. And that process can be used for virtually anything. It can be used for your literature review, so where you're looking at journals and books, and when you're reading those objects, you can start to pull out features and functions of the topic which you are writing about. You can then move to step 2, where you compare and contrast those features and functions. Move to step 3, where you're analysing those features and functions. To step 4, evaluate, and step 5, the justification and recommendation. So this process which I've outlined, these 5 steps, can be used for anything within academia when we come to writing about it. And it's important to have an eye on that end goal. What is it you're trying to achieve in terms of the evaluation and justification side of those steps? But conversely to that is actually, if you don't really understand the domain, the topic which you are exploring, then actually the first thing you need to do is identify the features and functions, that knowledge and skills and experience of doing whatever it is you're doing, which will then allow you to understand what you're looking for in terms of the evaluation and justification. So this is the idea of top-down or bottom-up approach. In terms of the writing frame, I've presented 5 steps in which we could use to achieve higher marks. The identify, compare, contrast, analysis, evaluate, justification and recommendation. I then try to visualize what that would look like in writing. And this writing frame is slowly working its way up the Bloom's taxonomy, and what we are seeing in terms of the writing is what we would anticipate when we are marking your work. And if you are analysing leading to evaluation justification, your marks are higher. All this is really useful when we start thinking about writing skills, because if we're using this framework and we're writing at the analysis evaluation level, we are developing higher academic skills. Your work will be more professional because the writing style will develop, making you more accurate and precise in what you're saying. This will also increase the readability of your work.